Hello, 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 everyone. Is this working? It looks like it is. Very warm welcome to this live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot, and this is our fourth group flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And as you can see, here we are in the lovely airport of Reggio Calabria, which is where we arrived in a recent stream in the A321, following a rather sporty style approach where we had to fly around and do a banked turn into final approach here. May have to do that again in Microsoft Flight Simulator just to see what the difference is with the visuals. Look at this, quite a good collection we've got here. Of course, we have an A320neo. There's always one, so we have at least one of those to join us, and then we have lots of TBM 930s. Everyone should have access to this plane, so it's included with every edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So that's going to be the plane I'll be flying, and it's quite a fast plane. So it's going to be useful to have something of similar speed. So the Airline is probably a bit fast, although you can just fly them slower, obviously. And what we're going to do is, it's called a Volcano tour, as you saw, although we're not going to do too many, but there are 2 active volcanoes we can go and visit, and we shall. So we're going to take off from here. We're going to head over to Mt Etna, just behind us, and then up to Mt Vesuvius, next to Naples. I've got loads of Wikipedia facts about those 2 things, as well as the aeroplane we'll be flying, so we can have a good chat about it. You'll probably all recognise this plane from the trailer. I think it was one of the first ones they showed in the trailer for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is I can see why. It's a good looking plane, and we'll talk about it on the way once we get up in the cruise. Jumping into the chat, I see the chat's been quite busy already, so I won't even attempt to try and keep up. Just some information for anyone trying to join the flight if you're struggling. A few things you can do is you can make sure you're set to the West Europe server. So if you can't see anybody else, you press escape, select here, choose servers West Europe. Make sure it's not automatic or anything, because you could be on the wrong one. Secondly, obviously, as I said, choose this aeroplane if you can. And we are in the airport, Lima, India. Let me check I get it right. Lima, India, Charlie, Romeo, LICR. Anyone can join, anyone watching, if you fancy it, there's no problem at all. It's just a bit of fun, really, today. I don't fly the TBM in real life. I never have. So you'll see lots of things I'm doing wrong, especially any of you who are students of Stevo. Is it Stevo Kinio? Very popular YouTuber who does great videos flying the TBM around. So we're going to have a bit of fun today. So just saying hello to a few people I recognise just from the chat. Again, apologies if I miss you. Good to see you. Time Walker, Alexander Pasuto, Tango Delta, I think's in there. We've got loads. Victor Tango, good to see you. Joseph Mitzig, thanks for coming along. Gaming Squirrel, hello. Kai Stoneman, how to set up a serious. Yeah. Yes, Papa, good to see you again. Yes, Papa is our Discord admin. Thanks for taking the time. The moderators, we've got Dougal, who's getting his car fixed. So I hope that goes well, Dougal. Pretty dark and lonely night to get your car fixed. I hope they get it fixed so you can get home soon enough. It's getting late in the day. Eventually they'll just give up. And yeah, everybody else, I'm sorry if I miss out the names, but thanks for coming along. Look forward to seeing you. Matteo Losado, hello from Sicily. There you go. We are about to head over to Sicily to find Mt Etna. Dinara, Henrik, Mad Mushroom, great name. Vinci Eric, and Curtis Crone in the A320. There we go. Stevo, who, yeah, exactly. I'm sure I got that. I butchered his name, but he does a lot of videos in the TBM. Oh, we got another Neo. Excellent. I did see someone asking about the A320neo fix. It is fixed. You need the development version. They should be updating the stable version to version 0.4.2. If you can't find the install for the development version, I recommend you go to their website and find the installer. And using the installer, it's incredibly easy to update to the development version. Right, let's get going. And one of the surprising things is that we're relatively well equipped today with checklists. So I'm going to jump into the flight deck. And here we are, completely cold and dark. I always like to start like this. Slightly concerning why my mouse looks like that. Hopefully that does not carry on for long. And I can use the switches. Yeah, well, I don't know why it looks like that, but we can use the switches, so we won't worry too much. And we're going to bring up the checklist. There we go. That seems to have fixed it. I'm very suspicious every time I turn on this simulator. So let's get it up and running. As always, do let me know how the audio is. That there won't be much audio in here, but once we're outside, we'll be getting a good taste for it. Hello to Fixing Things for You. Right, so exterior lights off. They're up here. They are all in the off position, so that's good. Interior lights off. Presumably because we're going to start with batteries, we don't want to drain them all using the lights. Crash lever down. That's this crash bar, which looks like it is already down. Yep. I'm not sure exactly what the function of this is. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of you with more knowledge on this. Starter should be off, which is over here, and it's off. Ignition auto, it's in auto. Aux boost pump off, that is over here, and that's off. Fuel selector man. Now the fuel selector is interesting because it's automatic in this aeroplane, which is really quite fancy. So there must be another button to do that. Let's set that to manual. There we go. Autopilot and trims off. So this is great. I don't know why this airplane alone has such a comprehensive checklist. The eye system's off, inertial separator off, parking brake on, landing gear lever down. I'll just make sure that is actually down. Yeah, bleed off. Very fancy airplane having a bleed system as well. Throttle cut off. Now, if anyone can explain to me the throttle, I'll be very pleased, because it should be over on the right and down in the cut-off position, but I do not know how I'm supposed to do that. And if I try using the reverse, it just goes back there. So there's probably something you need to do to make that work. So we'll just tick that. We've got a few people loading up where we are. Fuel tank selector now goes open, left or right. So it's already on the right. Tick. Great. Before start engine, then crash lever goes up. Crash lever goes up. It's not very nice having a bar called a crash bar in your airplane, but anyway, we can tick that. Source, battery or GPU. So that is over here, and we're going to go to battery. We don't have a GPU today. That should, I'm imagining, power up a few things. Yeah, there we go. Screens coming online. Generator goes to main. Oh, this is great. So good to have a whole checklist identified and lit up and selectable. DI systems test. That I'm going to get rid of the yoke, so you can't see me struggling with the yoke as it shakes around. Right, so we test these. We press this. Just check all the lights work, so we know if the systems are running or not. Landing gear lever, check down lights, and then we can do the test. And light test. Look at this. It's amazing. Amazing detail. Fuel on board check. Now that is a good one. I'm going to add some fuel because I've messed up before. Let's go up to, let's put ourselves 80%. I'm sure this plane can fly for a long time like that. Do I need to load that? No, I think that's in. Good. Got fuel. Wonder where we're supposed to check that. That'll be on here. So we're going to press that button to continue. And look at that. It even highlights on the screen. So loads of fuel. Tick. Engine start time. Right. Motoring if residual greater than 150 on the ITT. Intermediate turbine temperature. No, it's low. It's cold. It's a cold start. So ignition goes to auto, which it is in. Aux boost pump can come on. Propeller area clear. Right, we'll do our usual. Clear prop. Tick. Starter on. 2 seconds, then off. Right, let's get the starter right. That's this one. On. 1, 2, off. Tick. Throttle set low idle when NG is at 13. NG rising. 13. So now we should go from cut off to idle, which we're already at. Don't know how to change that. Yeah, I tried dragging the throttle with my mouse. I just couldn't get it to do anything. I've been playing with it for ages to try and make it work. Throttle's at low idle. ITT max 870 for 20 seconds. So we're just watching that temperature. The engines obviously get hot when they start and then they cool down as they accelerate. Total kite took about 1 hour to configure the throttle. Just use the mouse. Yeah. Why can't I still do that? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks for the tip, guys. I'll have to try again another time. Yeah, it is confusing. It is a very confusing lever. Santa game is coming along. Rodrigo, everyone can join. You're all welcome to. Kai's also in an A320. Excellent. Still don't see anyone. Vinci Dedic, that's yeah, that's unfortunate. Make sure you have all players and the right server, West Europe server. It could be in your accessibility options. Right, ITT max 870. Has it cooled down? Yep, it's down at 613. Tick. NG. Yep. Tick. We barely checked any of these. The oil and pressure raised. Yeah, temperature and pressure. 33 degrees. That'll warm up, I imagine. 112 psi, more than enough. Automatic starter should be off. And it is in the off position. I think that's right. After engine start. Throttle low idle to flight idle. Yeah, see, so where's... Oh, I see low idle and flight idle up there. Oh, it does work. I tried 1,000 times earlier and I couldn't make it do it. I must have been, if you click on the wrong part. Well, let's not cut it off now. Okay, well anyway, we've got flight idle. Oil pressure we've checked. Aux boost pump back to auto. Always embarrassing. I did this in the A300 recently. Aux pump auto. Fuel selector to auto. So in theory, I don't think it will matter what we do with the fuel selector lever now. It should do it on its own. Fuel shift button test. Ah, I see. Hold on. Now maybe that would do it. So that's on the left tank. Now it's on the right tank. So it does have an automatic system. Very clever. Right. Autopilot trims on. And James Cooper, £5 donation. Thank you very much. That's incredibly generous of you. Right next door. I hope that hasn't gone through twice by accident for you. Let me just see. But thank you very much for the £5 donation, James. It's really, really appreciated. Thanks for supporting the channel. Oh, it's come through twice on the alert box. I hope you're doing okay with that, James. But thank you very much for supporting the channel. It's really appreciated, and it's going to help us get some more stuff into the streams soon. So yeah, very kind of you, James. Right next door, James is. Let's see. Jim Jam, is that you, James? We've got so many surrounding us now. So yeah, thank you very much. Right, generator to main. That is on main, and bleed auto or max diff. Let's have auto. I don't like the sound of max diff. Max diff is presumably max differential pressure, so it would just keep the cabin as low as possible by keeping the highest differential pressure with the outside, I'm guessing. That sounds not something I like the sound of. Right, inertial set on. Flight controls check. Let's do a whole wiggle waggle. Big, they're not that long actually, but quite deep ailerons on this aeroplane. Also roll spoilers, which is quite interesting. Don't see that often on planes this size. And rudder. Tick. Flaps are up. Yep. Tick. Throttle feather twice. Right. So that could be a bit tricky. That is going to involve. I don't want to bring it to cutoff. Does that feather it? It does. Look, that's bringing the RPM right down. And we'll get it back on. And then we should see that RPM rise. So you're just exercising the propeller mechanism to make sure it can do it. James, that was James. Excellent, James. I hope you enjoy the stream. Thanks again for your kind donations. Yeah, Darian Naho, it is incredibly fancy pants. And I looked up, as I always do, so we'll talk about the price later. Oh, no, come on. Across there. Check the RPM drops. Down it goes. Back. Down. See, look at this. It's just a complete checklist. Tax light on. Let's put on the nav lights. Don't need the strobe, not the pulse yet. Park brake off. So we're ready to go. We've got the whole checklist for before lineup. Dougal. Safe drive, Dougal. Hopefully we'll see you in flight soon. Flight time today, guys, I don't know. It's only about 45 minutes to get up to Naples from here in this aeroplane, but we're going to go obviously the wrong way first. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the route. Inertial separator on, that's fine. Stall, no heat. So let's get the pitot right, pitot left, and I'm going to have the windshield heat on, because why wouldn't you? Inertial separator on, well, why not? Seems strange for it to be so concerned. Not really sure what that does. I haven't flown an airplane with an inertial separator as part of the DI system. Right, weather-wise, guys, this is something I meant to tell you. I've changed it to few clouds and 1342, somewhere around there. So sort of lunchtime, local time with few clouds, because the weather was a bit miserable otherwise. So that way we'll hopefully get a nice view of the mountains. Okay, I'm going to press B to hopefully be, yeah, we're on standard with the weather. Autopilot trim switch is still off, says Lucas. Right, where's that? I'm hoping that will come up in the checklist later. So, yeah, this is a complicated airplane. It's got loads of great features. But, right, routing-wise, guys. So, we are here, obviously, LICR. If I go to this one. Nope. MFD. I did have a way to do this. MFT, there we go. Now we can just arrange. So this is amazing actually. If you press that, it brings up like a touchpad, and then you can scroll around, which I've not seen before. So basically we're in Reggio Calabria, and this is an airport built in 1939, used by the military initially. It's also called Airport of the Strait because it's the Strait of Messina, which is this link between Italy and Sicily. If we zoom out far enough, you'll see that. So we're on sort of the tip of the shoe of Italy. Here's Sicily, and there is Mt Etna. I'm going to get them confused soon because I wrote the stuff down in the wrong order, really. So this is obviously in the east of Sicily. This was once underwater, and it grew up from underwater. So what we're going to do is take off and head over there, nice and leisurely, no great stress, and go for a little tour around it. We'll also stop by at Lima India Charlie Zulu, which is, if I zoom in, a little town there, Charlie Zulu, which is Catania, if I get that right. As long as I get like, yeah, Catania. So let's go back to the PFD. And we're going to take off and just head west, really. You can't miss it. It's incredibly obvious. So we'll do a taxi out and then we'll get more of those checklists done. Good. Brakes released then. Have I got rudder control? No, I have. But I haven't got throttle control. What's going on? Oh, is it still in feather? There we go. Prop accelerating. Oh, it's not a good turning circle. Not going to make that very far around. We're going to drive straight through the tractor as we always do. Probably through a 320. Sorry to that TBM. They were in the right place. Now, we'll just head onto the runway and choose where we want to go from there. So VFR chart. Let's take off towards the hills and make a right turn out, I think. So we'll just enter the runway, backtrack and do it from there. Lovely day for it now that we've set it so. Baffinab, good to see you here. I hope you're doing well. Is it clear on the runway? It's clear that way. It's clear that way. And as always for these sorts of flights, we don't bother actually checking that too carefully or we'll never go. Let's put on all of our lights. So we'll have the pulse light on as well, which should be nice. And strobe light can come on. Oh, God, the turning circle's terrible. Maybe I've not got the nose wheel steering on properly. Now there's going to be difficulty as we all try and line up. Let's get a screenshot of that. Right, there was some more checklists for us to do. Checklist, what's left? So before line up, park brake, landing lights. Yeah, we've done that. Ignition, auto or on. Auto, yeah. Aux boost pump, auto. Fuel selector, auto. DI system as required. Heater on. So you don't put the heaters on until you get out there. Some pitot heats don't like being left on the ground because they overheat. Trims to takeoff. As ever, I find it needs to be a bit nose down in Microsoft Flight Simulator, otherwise the planes just seem to get airborne. The flaps take off, so I'm going to put 1 notch of flap out. Bleed, auto or max diff, we've done that. Altimeter setting check, outsell. Yeah, well, not too worried about that. Transponder squawk set. How do you do that? That's all done on here, isn't it? Navcom. We won't worry too much about that. I wouldn't never manage. Tick. Takeoff, prop green, brakes released, torque 100%, rotation 10 degrees, landing gear above 115, we can bring the flaps up. Sounds pretty straightforward, hopefully. Doesn't seem like they do a power check on the TBM. You don't tend to do power checks on jet-powered aircraft as such. They have a lot more monitoring systems. Victor Tango, not quite. It's not quite SFE to go through the airplanes when they're in the way. And I feel bad for that TBM because they were in the perfectly right place, but I was completely in the way for them anyway. Okay, let's turn around here as everyone else is. I'm going to go right through everybody. Sorry, everyone. Who's done a good job lining up. I wish I could get more turning circle out of this airplane. I just can't make it do it. Okay, so we're taking off in the opposite direction to how I landed with the Airbus very recently. And as you can see, a lot of terrain out in front of us, and that's why you do an amazing steep approach, and you have to come around here and then bank left over these hills to land. It was great fun. So that stream is up on YouTube if you're interested in seeing it. I think we're ready to go. So, that's not... Yeah, okay. Pretty convincing. Let's get ourselves underway. It does say 100% torque, but when I do that, the ITT seems to overheat. But I know that the power settings are all wrong. It's wrong on the Airbus as well in this sim, so we'll just have to make do. Oh yeah, before we do go, I'm going to turn on some of these lights. Make it a bit more obvious in flight deck. Right. Brakes released then. Let's go. I'll use slightly less than full power so you guys can catch up. Oh, it feels a bit windy. Yeah, see, even there the torque goes too high. Right. Up into the air. I think she'll fly. Positive climb. Gear up. Bit of trim. Above 115. Flaps to 0. And away we go. Excellent. Oh, I've got too much nose down trim for sure. Okay, we're airborne. Off we go. If anyone's wondering, I'm running this on high settings, but I have the ultra set for the windscreens so that we get these reflections here. I do quite like that. It is a bit turbulent today in my settings anyway. Hopefully it doesn't affect it too much for you guys. Okay, and lo and behold, if we look out to the right, we'll start to see Mt Etna. So off we go. So the airport we just took off from serves about 1.2 million people in this area, but it is very close to Mt Etna, and as a result, in the charts for it, there is warnings about how many dangerous issues there are, including obviously the volcanic ash, because Mt Etna is a continuously active volcano, so there's always a chance of running into some. We got another thing to talk about Mt Etna. It's incredibly tall. Oh, that's too high. So we're going to have to really climb to get a good view of the top. So I'm going to climb up to 10,000 feet initially, which this plane is capable of, no problem. Good turning circle at 7 to 10 knots. Okay, we'll try that on the ground next time. The swarm, exactly. Fly 24. Thanks for coming, Fly 24. And yeah, agreed. So I'm going to keep my power slightly back to give you guys a chance to catch up. Master caution, there we go. That's the one we don't need. That's better. The affinity would like something maybe others could use is detail ATC guide. What you ask for, what you should do if something is not said. If something is said, not the basic stuff, the more advanced. Okay, that's a good idea. I've had a few people ask about that, and I haven't done any specific air traffic control tutorials yet. So that's definitely something I could consider for the future. So thank you for the suggestion. David says, thank you for your tutorials on A320. It helps a lot. You are very welcome, David. I'm glad they've been helpful. That's why I put them up there, and it's always great to hear that people have found them useful. Okay, now I'm going to stick in the autopilot as usual, although I didn't do the autopilot and trims, which I was told to do earlier. So what could I do about that? On. And then we'll go, instead of turning, it turns... All propeller, single engine propeller aircraft will turn like that. There's going to be torque from the engine hitting the tail. Usually the tail is sort of adjusted trim-wise to account for it. Put on the yaw damper. Put on the autopilot. It's in roll and pitch. Now let's put it into... Let's go to 10,000 feet, please. And we'll do it in feet. Obviously this airplane's pressurized, so no problem there. Climbing vertical speed. Sorry everyone, I reckon we can do 1,000 feet per minute, no problem. I'm totally guessing. And let's go for heading. But before I do that, let's put the heading bug somewhere useful. Heading right, should be banking left, there we go. Oh, we got a twin engine. Excellent. Great job. Oh, fantastic. Right, guys. So yeah, volcanoes. I promised volcanoes, and we'll talk a lot about volcanoes. But obviously, this is a very volcanic region. The reason we have two of some of the most active volcanoes on the planet next to each other is because this is where the African and Eurasian tectonic plates meet. they're convergent, so they're actually getting closer to each other, and where one of the plates is forced down beneath the other, you get these build-ups of pressure and magma and so on, and that's as much as I'm going to say because I don't know anything else about it, but that causes volcanoes somehow. So there you go. So that's why we have them here. Funny thing about Mt Etna is it's moving away from Italy. It's going into the Mediterranean at 14 millimeters a year. There you go. I've got loads more facts like that. Just you wait. Look at that, lovely clouds. Steve-O is very lucky to get to enjoy this this beautiful machine. As you can see, lots of high terrain off to the right there. Wow, we've got our formation star then. PG trots. Dan Jawbury's there. White Eagle. Crone Zone. Turtle Kayak I can see. Excellent. Let's see if we can get that opening shot of Microsoft Flight Simulator trailer. That was about here, wasn't it? Excellent. So, just jumping into the chat. Someone did say, and I must read it out, someone did explain kindly what the inertial separator does, but I think I've lost that now. You can't miss it, says Darren Naho. Yeah, so my last stream, I took us a good 40 minutes off track, I think. At least a couple of 100 miles in a Cirrus as we went to Sarajevo airport instead of the one I meant to go to, which was incredibly embarrassing. So there is plenty of opportunity for that to happen today. I'm hoping not, but I've looked it up. I chose the two biggest things. I mean, this mountain's 10,000 foot tall, so I'm really hoping I can't miss it, or the other one that we're going to. Airbus fan, the server is West Europe. We just took off from LICR. Right. And again, as always, sorry if I miss things in the chat, guys. It's just because I'll be trying to do too many things at once. Service seating of the aircraft. Good question, Darren Naho. I think this can go up. I don't know. That's one of the facts I didn't get for this one. We'll talk about the aeroplane on the way to Vesuvius and Naples. Matteo says, I do confirm we get a lot of volcanic ash from Mt Etna every year. That's amazing. And earthquakes. Yeah, I can't believe it. Imagine living near a volcano. I mean, I suppose it's just normal when you do it for a while. There are lots of earthquakes in Italy, aren't there? Yeah, it is famous for it. How do you activate the autopilot, says the Affinity? You need to, as someone kindly reminded me earlier, turn on the autopilot trim switch. I put it to on, and then you can just press yaw damper, press that on, and AP on. 31,000 feet, there we go, flight level 310. Inertial separator moves a blocker door in the intake to prevent FOD on the ground. Ah, there you go. So we can definitely turn that off now. No FOD up here. Could still be birds. It'd be amazing. I've hit bumblebees at 8,000, 12,000 feet before, and you think, how on earth did they get up here? Right, so what else about Mt Etna? It's the highest Italian peak south of the Alps, so it beats the ones in Rome and Mt Vesuvius by quite a margin, actually. It's 2.5 times taller than Mt Vesuvius, which is obviously a very famous volcano for what it's done. Matteo is, used to being next to a volcano. And volcanoes have advantages. They obviously are covered in incredibly fertile soil, so they're used for vineyards and farming very commonly, and they always have been. The soil that comes out of the ground deep down is often, it's not soil, is it, but it turns into the fertile soil on the surface. What else have I got here? There's 3 active volcanoes in Italy. This is obviously the largest, and it's only beaten by the volcano in Tenerife in terms of European volcanoes. It's one of the world's most active because it is continuously active. What I'm going to do, actually, I think we're going to have to climb a bit higher. Maybe we'll have to go up to 12. Look at that. Airbus doing a good job up there. And there she is in all her glory. So you could certainly live. I mean, I imagine you can see it from quite a lot of Sicily. Let's go up to 12. Let's go up to 14,000 feet, I think. Get a nice clear view over the top. Vertical speed. Away we go. How it's going to capture. And we'll stay on altitude. I know we shouldn't, but we're going to. So we'll fly around it. We'll do a loop around, and then we're going to land in Lima, India, Charlie, Zulu, Catania, which is a photogrammed, or whatever they call it. It's one of those fancy pants towns in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which has been scanned with all sorts of clever things. So it's got all the 3D scenery there. So it's quite good actually. They've done quite a nice job. Let's jump up in our seat. That's more of a realistic pilot view, I always think. The default ones seem a bit low. Let's turn on some air conditioning for us. We're working hard here. So we got set it to pilots. Let's turn up that fan. Keep it nice and cool. Matteo, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along. Matteo, one of our moderators as well, along with Dougal and Liz. Bonnet English. My wife and I have been up Etna with lava flowing, but hot lava in packet jacket guides gave us to keep our hands warm. Great memories. Wow. Yeah, amazing. It has caught out a few people. It injured a BBC film crew a little while back when the hot lava combined with the snow sort of exploded. So that can be bad stuff. It's obviously a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Lots of these places are. Etna. Where does the name Etna come from? Does anyone know that? Oh yeah, Matteo, thanks. We've got, hopefully we can get some more likes. Thank you for all coming along to watch. I do appreciate it. And if you can like it, YouTube recommends the channel a bit more and the videos a bit more. So that's always good if we can get that. And here we go. So we're going to loop around all this lush greenery around, which we know is photographs because this is using Bing. So this is part of having such fertile soil from a volcano around you. It actually has a collapse on the eastern side, which I do have the reason why. It was a landslide, a bit like Vesuvius. It had a landslide thousands of years ago on the eastern flank. They think 8,000 years ago that happened. James Cooper, thanks for your £1 donation. That's very kind of you. Thank you again. You always go fast. Am I talking too fast, am I? I do talk a bit too fast in some of my videos. Maxed out 31,000 feet. Prices, yeah, 4 million. Exactly, 4 to 4.5 million. I did look up trying to buy one earlier. Incredibly expensive aeroplane. Etna comes from the ancient Greek word for burning. That's it. Yeah, well done, Matteo. It's the Greek word meaning, I've got it written here, I burn. Yeah, and that's where Etna, we've sort of translated it into English, but there you go. So is this the ravine I was talking about, called the Valley of the Ox, where it's collapsed? So those of you who remember Mount St. Helens in America, which had an explosion in 1980, a devastating explosion, that had a similar effect where a side of the mountain blew off, and this is the same thing has happened on Mount Etna, where a side of it has collapsed. I think we're more to the south now. Oh, I guess east, yeah. Yeah, so maybe this is it. Maybe this is the Valley of the Ox. Matteo Losado will probably be able to tell us if we've got that wrong. James, thank you again for your donation. It's very kind. Matteo's taking a little break from trying to memorise the entire BA SOPs. Yes, good idea. You do need to take some breaks. You can't do that all in one night, that's for sure. Okay, so back into the cockpit. Let's start bringing it around to the right. Now this could be a bit hard in heading mode. I may have to take out the autopilot for this. In fact, I'm doing it. Autopilot's off, guys, so I do apologise in advance for how much more difficult this will now be. And we'll just cruise around, and then we'll go back down to Catania. How long have we been going? About half an hour. That's good. We're doing good for time. We've got some capable aeroplanes here, so we'll have no trouble. And you can see the town over there with its photogrammed scenery. I don't know if there's... oh, we'll get a bit closer, shall we? Try and enjoy some of that. This is one of the great things about... amazing things about Microsoft Flight Simulator for me. It's just the total coverage of photograph scenery that we can just stream like this. It's amazing. And it gives us so much we can do and go and visit, and you can see what's actually there, you know. You do see some breaks in some of the tiles, as you'll notice when we get around the other side. And it looks like lots of paths up the side, so you can clearly... I think there was a... was there a tram line here that went up the side? I can hear some turbulence. I wonder if we'll get some turbulence off the mountain. You certainly would in real life. Even with a light wind, you'd probably notice it. What I'm going to do as well, if I go back to PFD I'm going to turn on the wind. So PFD settings, wind option. I don't like option 1. I like option 2. 4 knots. Okay, not much wind here. That's good. How are you guys doing with my terrible flying? Not bad, not bad. Well done. So we're going to head round the side now. Look at that. Much darker up at the top. It's just massive. 10,000 feet. Over 10,000 feet. It does change. Both volcanoes we're going to see today do change their maximum altitudes. It goes up and down as the crater forms and reforms. There's amazing footage on YouTube if you want to see. There we go. We have a bit of a line from the scenery change. There's some amazing photos on YouTube if you want to see the... videos, sorry, on YouTube if you want to see the craters leaking lava around. So yeah, at this altitude it will get snow in the winter, definitely, I'm sure. Husker says, first time seeing a live stream. Definitely have learned a lot from the A320neo tutorials. Thanks, you're very welcome. I'm glad they've helped you. Most fly Boeings, so appreciate your time and knowledge. No, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming along today. And I'm glad the videos are useful. So there we go, look at that. So we're just around the peak. Yeah, 11,000 feet, and we're safely above it, but only slightly. Am I going too fast now? I'm just going to slow it down a bit in my spiral round. Right. In terms of recent eruptions here, there's been 2002, 2003, there was an eruption. Smoke and ash made it as far as Libya, 600 kilometers away. 2015, 2017, 2018 all had eruptions or some sort of event. So yeah, it is an active volcano. And as you can see, there's not much development this close in. And this, I believe, is the Valley of the Ox, the valley that collapsed. Valley de Bove in Italian. From a huge eruption 8,000 years ago. Volcano first active, this volcano, 500,000 years ago, underwater. 500,000 years. 500,000 years. It's hard to believe, isn't it, that this stuff is on the same planet as us. And we've had aeroplanes for 120-ish years. Right, let's head over to Catania. So we're going to go left, and I think we'll just do a little touch and go on the runway there. Don't want to spend too long doing that, and we'll head out to the coast and head up. Maybe do another touch and go at an airfield en route to Mt Vesuvius and Naples. Oh, we'll skim some clouds. Lovely. They do a nice job on the clouds in terms of the way they fade in and out. I like that a lot in Microsoft Flight Simulator. A lot of sims have struggled, FSX in particular struggled to model clouds where it would actually just sort of, you'd be flying through 2D textures, but they seem to have resolved that a bit. Let's try and go through this one as well. Now it is annoying the way it constantly banks, so I'm going to put a bit of left aileron trim. Probably a bit of rudder trim is more appropriate. I'm not entirely sure where the rudder trim is. On the turboprop I flew, we always use the rudder trim a lot. It's because now I've solved the banking issue, but I've got a bit of side slip, you see, so it's not ideal. But I don't know where they have the rudder trim fitted on this. Park brake. No. Someone will tell me, I'm sure. You guys are always very good with that. Thank you, Geography Professor Simpilot. Exactly. Well, I have to make up for my lack of geography last time we flew. Darian says, I wonder how much percentage power the prop loses at this altitude. Probably not too much. I mean, all of these engines will lose power as you climb, but they'll also become more efficient, and they'll be going faster through the air. There'll just be less air, so you'll feel like there's less power. But that's sort of where they're designed to be. Right, here we go. It's interesting, you can actually see quite clearly where the scanning was done properly. So we're going to go, I'm just going to go left over the town a little bit. So sorry to those guys who are ahead, turning right to the right place. I'm going to head out to the town first. 4,000 feet, somewhere here should be good. Now, sadly, in my Wikipediaing, I didn't get many facts about Catania, so you guys can jump in and fill us in. Oh, it's on the yoke. Now that would make sense. Nose down. Is that your Could be, couldn't it? Yaw and pitch trim. Wrong way. Oh, really wish I hadn't fiddled with that now. Now that reminds me of the F14 in DCS. So put the aileron back to neutral. Hopefully that's a bit better. Hopefully. No, it's going the wrong way now. And we'll stop fiddling with that before we hit in town. Here we go. So you can tell this is a much more detailed town. Oh, this is Matteo City. We have some amazing food down here. I mean, I can imagine. Second biggest city in Sicily, except for Palermo. There you go. That's the one fact I have about it. I think it's great. These scanned towns. They just look amazing. Looks like quite a big industry here as well. Lovely beach as well. See, this is the magic of Italy. You've got great beaches, great food. Okay, so we're going to do a flyby of this airport, which is not the main. There's a few airports here. This is Lima India Charlie Charlie. We'll do Charlie Zulu, back around, and then head up the coast. Excellent. Do a little flyby here. And we're doing a great job. Going to do a steep turn now. We'll do the touch and go at the next airport. Everyone will remember the Sarajevo foggy VFR descent into a valley. Just about the most dangerous thing you could do with a real airplane. You do not want to be going like that, but this is a much nicer day to be flying. Enna is a wonderful looking city in Sicily, says Marek. There you go. Alexander Pasuto says, this is a change to the 777. I can imagine it is. Let's do a bit of low-level flying. We don't want to be up at 10,000 feet. We can do that in anything. I haven't been to Catania Airport, Charlie Zulu, yet, so I'm curious to see what it's like. Pretty close by, though, by the looks of it. So this is where I find out I've muddled up my airports again. I'm going to start slowing down, guys, so be ready for that. That's all the help I can give. Should be pointing right at it, just in front of us. Dougal says, which altitude are you aiming for? That's a good question. Let's go for 700 feet till we get there. Where is it? Ah, not even managing that. Come on. Come on. I made my life difficult by descending too early. I was hoping to get straight in. Has anyone been here? I'm looking. I'm looking. Ah, LICC was the Catania airport. So where? This must be a tiny little airfield. That's what we're going to find. I knew I'd get this wrong. But I want to find it now. I want to find Lima India Charlie Zulu. That's an airbase. Oh, there we go. I can't see it at all. Oh, well, we know why. That will be banned because it's they don't add the air bases, do they? Yeah. Well done. Okay. Back we go. We're going back to Charlie Charlie. Before I get myself into trouble for trying to fly to an air base. Strange they have it marked on the map, but I suppose they know these things there. Oh, it's a US Navy. Okay, well, let's get out. Let's go back to Catania as quick as we can. So we'll do a touch and go here. We'll do the touch and go pointing out to sea. Let's level off again, 1,800 feet for now. Pointing out to sea, then we'll take off, head back round. and up to where we go. It's fine. They've taken it out of the game. It's fine. Oh, apparently there is one in Microsoft. Oh well, we didn't find it, which is probably a good thing for today. Yeah, get some F-16 soon. Right. Yeah, we'll go back to the proper airport, which is also much easier to find. And we're going to do a touch and go, guys. So touch and go on this next one. So I'll be landing, rolling along, bringing the flaps up a stage, going back to full power, and off we go. Go to our landing seats. Right, we're too high. Thrust down. Let's put the gear down as well so we can slow down a bit. Turboprops are usually very good. If you get the speed back, they normally slow down much better than jet aircraft, but that doesn't necessarily apply today. Especially when we dive down this fast. This might have to be a flapless touch and go given the speed we're at. I don't think I'll get the speed back enough for some flaps, so we'll we'll make it work. Aviaman, ciao. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming along. Aviaman, another YouTube streamer, member of Simwings support group or co-founder along with Dougal. Flying in your hometown. Excellent. I didn't realise. I knew Aviaman was from Italy. We seem to have a few Italians in the chat today. Okay, here we go. Oh, 2 whites, 2 reds. Look at that. There. Stable at about 200 feet, if that. A320 going first, as you'd expect. Get that thrust back. Bit of ground effect. God, that rudder is so effective. Okay, rolling along, bit of nose down trim. Get that power up. Whoa! Now, I don't know what happened there. There's not a bump in the runway or something, is there? That was odd. I've not had that in flight sim before. Very odd. Fair people frozen on the runway. Yeah, there's a glitch there. There's something... Oh dear, something wrong there. I hope not too many people were knocked out by that, because that definitely hit me as well. Right. Back we go. So Aviaman is another Mt Etna local. Who knows far more about it than I have. I don't know why I thought I should do the tour. I seem to have more people in chat that know far more about it than I do. Aviation Master, hello. Good to see you here. Okay. Catapult takeoff. Yeah, it was, wasn't it, Matteo? Yeah, it absolutely was. Flight sim crashes. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I didn't realise the runway there would have that impact. VTOL for a sec, yeah. It looked almost like the old school days of the original sensitivity in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which was incredibly aggressive in pitch. Okay, we don't need to go back up to 14,000, and we don't need to do that on the heading. Let's go. We'll just skim past the western side of Mt Etna for this one. Going up to 12,000 feet. That'll work. Your temper's on. Autopilot's on, I think. Yeah. James Cooper, thank you very much for your £2 donation. James, you've been very generous today. Thank you very much. It's really appreciated. Thank you for, again, supporting the channel. Squawk 7500, I dare you. I don't even know how. Oh dear. We're going to get ourselves in all sorts of trouble on this flight. Let's go back to vertical speed. Pitch, vertical speed, 1100 feet per minute. That's fine. Oh, is it fine actually? Might need a bit more power. Really got to get the climb going. But thank you, James. Thanks for supporting the channel. Yeah, we're still accelerating. Let's get that pitch up. It's maybe a bit of a push in this aeroplane. Mr. Boom, give me a shout out. There you go, Mr. Boom. Oh no, Kai's sim done. I'm really sorry, guys. If you want to join back in, though, you can do that by... You should be able to... I think you can select us on the map. If not, spawn at LICC, or actually my plan is to sort of follow the coast and we'll stop off at LIRI. It's just a random airfield I've chosen. Dougal's joined. Excellent, Dougal. How big is the convoy now? We're doing well. We may have lost a few there, so I do apologise to those. I really had no idea there was a problem there. James lost the sim. Oh no, James. Well, you're welcome to join back in anytime, obviously. It's been a bit of a mess. Right. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? So 190 knots. So we've got spare energy here, so let's get a bit more climb out of it. She seems quite capable. Routing now then. Let's get rid of that yoke. I think I've got that, hopefully got that trimmed, something reasonable. So round this side of Mt Etna, and then we'll just follow the coast back up. We'll scoot past Reggio Calabria and along the sort of top of the foot of Italy up towards Naples, eventually getting to Mt Vesuvius. I think I've run out of facts for you for Mt Etna, so in a moment I'll bore you with facts about the TBM 930. We've already used up a few. Excellent. Doing well, doing well. It's a great looking aeroplane, this. I really like it. And those winglets as well on the wingtips. Good fun. Yeah, so I think if your sim crashes, I think you can spawn with us. You can climb in IS mode. Ah, yeah, of course. Effectively open climb, I suppose. That'd be flight level change, I'm guessing. 186. Not that one. Not that one. Ah, yeah, we use the pit trim wheel. Okay, let's come back 150. We're going to shoot up now. Must be hard work for you guys. Stromboli Volcano. Okay, is there what's the nearest? Is there a VOR or anything we can navigate to? Aviaman, that'd help me out. I don't know if you saw my last stream, Aviaman, but I got everyone lost by a significant amount. The black tip pod, I believe, someone else will correct me, is a weather radar. Because in most aircraft, the weather radar is put in the nose in jet aircraft, but of course we've got an engine there, so there's no room for it. So I think that's the weather radar. It commonly is on aircraft like this anyway. Same with the Cessna Caravan. Interestingly, the Cessna Caravan uses the same engine, a version of the PT6A turboprop engine. There you go, one of the facts for you. Bonus fact already. Should be in those 3 little islands north on the top of Sicily. The little islands above Sicily are volcanic as well. Okay, okay. We're going there then. I'm going to slow down that climb. Let's level off now. And there's a great button here, level. Now it's going to really mess up those flying information. I do apologise, but it seems great for just holding it. Someone's on the top of the volcano. Excellent. Right. So we're going to these little islands. Now, I did see something called... was it called Volcano, small volcano in Italian? I forget what it was actually called, what word they used for it, but I think I saw that on one of these little islands up here. So is that where you guys are taking us? Let's come right a bit. Probably north from here, really, isn't it? Slightly northeast. Yep, exclamation mark specs will give you the specs of the computer. It's i7-10700K, 32 gigabytes of RAM, because even this now, while I'm streaming, I'm at over 16, and that's not even in London, or other busy places for the RAM. And RTX 3080 at the moment is what we've got. PT6 most produced engine ever, says Dougal and PT Trots. Yeah, it's hugely popular. Used, I believe it's used as, is it used as an APU, or am I confused with that? But yeah, it's been around a long time. I've got a whole list of airplanes that used it, but some notable ones, obviously the King Air that uses it, Air Tractor uses it, Cessna Caravan. Dash 7. Do any of you know the Dash 7? That's an old airplane now, but it had 4 turboprop engines. Amazing. Obviously came out before the Dash 8 came along. Let's put it into heading mode. Thank you for your subscription to Juha Hivonen. I think I may have missed a few of those. I've got a different streaming setup today, guys, so I'm doing my best. But I do apologise if I missed some things. Fighter says, please do more Microsoft Flight Simulator streams. I'll continue to do both just because there's some things we can do in X-Plane that we can't do in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and vice versa. This wouldn't work very well in X-Plane. We wouldn't have this sort of scenery around for us. So I'm afraid I'll do both for now. But yeah, I should definitely do some more Microsoft streams as well. I think it's been a fair while since the last one. James Cooper, £1 donation. Thank you very much. Again, James, you keep supporting us. It's very generous of you. Thank you, James. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream, and thanks for supporting the channel. TBM 930, somewhere between 4 to 4.5 million for a new one. Vicente Ramirez or Vicente Ramirez. Thanks, STM. I hope you enjoy subbing. Yeah, X-Plane, it will have a place, but just because it's so got such good mature airliners in it. They'll come to Microsoft. They will, but we are waiting. Right, let's head down to 7,000 feet vertical speed. Oh, not 2,000 feet per minute. It's probably a bit much. Get that power back. Oh, maybe do flight level change for this as well. Get a closer view of these, like Piano Volcano, something like that. If I bring up Google Maps, stand by. I usually make a mess of these things when I try and do two things while streaming. I love the wind farms in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Always nice to see. Okay, because they do stand out in real life. You can see them in the air really easily. Here it is. Okay, it's called, it's not there, Volcano Piano. There we go. Volcano Piano is the southernmost of those three, and Santa Marina is a bit further north. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Wow, we're really going. That was a bit of a crazy rate of descent. Turboprops can really go down fast when they want to. We'll go back to level now. Smooth Flying, do you think I should... Smooth Flying says, do you think I should switch over from X-Plane 11? I don't think there's a way to switch. I think if you want Microsoft Flight Simulator for what it does, great. And if you want... you can't replicate what you're doing in X-Plane if you're using the airliners in Microsoft Flight Simulator yet. Certainly not. A bit further north. And heading, please. There is a TBM improvement mod. I wasn't sure if there was. I did use the mod for... I've used it for the Cessna Citation and obviously the fly-by-wire 320. James Cooper, thank you very much, James. Another £2. It's very kind of you. Donations cut off my messages. Oh yeah, I see you. You didn't get a message last time. No, well, thank you very much, James. Again, you're being very generous. So thank you for supporting the channel. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I hope you managed to get back in your airplane. Aviaman has got the information on the volcano. There's 3 little islands northeast of those islands. There's one more called Stromboli, and this is one of the most active volcanoes in Europe, I believe. There we go. They all seem to be around here. There's 3 little islands. I'm looking for Stromboli. I've got Selena, Volcano Piano, which I really like the name of. And there's Stromboli. I see it. Okay, great. So let's go find it. I think it's here on our sim. So we'll go, yeah, I think this is a good heading to get us through them. Keep the speed up. Actually, I'm going to accelerate a bit, guys. Let's stretch the legs of the TBM a little bit. And let's descend. Let's go down to 5,000 feet. That's a nice altitude for cruising over the sea. Vertical speed 1600, yeah. Now, automatic fuel switching should prevent me having the embarrassment like I did in the Cub that time, where we nearly ran out of fuel on the way up to Skiathos. That was, wasn't it? James Cooper asked about the benefit of AP1 and AP2 together. I don't think this plane has 2 autopilots, so that must be talking about the A320. In the A320, there's 2 autopilot systems. There's 2 auto thrust systems as well, but you can't select them yourself. They are tied to their own autopilot unless you use both autopilots. We can only use one autopilot at a time on the A320, but we can select both after we've armed the approach mode for an ILS. So you can only use 2 autopilots when you're flying an ILS approach. The reason is it's just a backup for an auto land. There's obviously 2 autopilots in case one fails, because you need an autopilot on an airliner like that if you want to start flying up in RVSM airspace. Another £2 donation, thank you James. Have you an update vid on the MCDU fly-by-wire update? Yes, I am working on an MCDU video because they've added loads of new features, so that is coming. So in terms of both autopilots together, they work together in case one of them fails. They can also monitor each other, and they're used for auto lands in particular. That's where that is especially useful. But we can only use one at a time normally. Aviaman has got to go for work. Thank you very much for coming along, Aviaman, and thanks for your help with the guided tour. See you next time. Yeah, have a good day at work, Aviaman. I hope it goes well. Thanks for coming along. MCDU for the fly-by-wire. I plan to do a video on that soon, very soon, because I was waiting to do a version 0.5 update video. I've done each version as it comes out, and that way I figure everyone has the same version. The problem is they're doing so many things now in these versions that there's so many additions that I'm not going to be able to get them all into one video even if I tried. So I'm going to have to rethink my plan and probably do update videos on each system. So I'm planning on doing a few things about the MCDU because they've added some great features to it. Yeah, definitely. I think that'll be my next video. So here we go. I think this is the Volcano Piano. Brilliant name. Does look pretty small. Slightly big one to the north. And we want to go to here, Stromboli, as Aviaman has guided us. 230 knots, not bad. Not bad. Apparently the G3000 mod gives you customizable trackline and Boeing banana. What's a Boeing banana? It's not a phrase I've heard before. Interesting. There is a freeware 787 update as well. Vicente Ramirez or Vicente. People will remember the name of it. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah. Yeah, James, Autopilot 2. It is a failsafe, although whichever pilot is flying will use the autopilot on their side. So Captain will use Autopilot 1, FO will use Autopilot 2. The reason is Autopilot 1 will use FMGC1. It will use all the instruments from the number 1 side, the Captain side, and Autopilot 2 will use all the stuff from the FO side. So you want it to match up. If the FO, the instruments are independent, so the screen on the right, this is not in the TVN, this is in the Airbus, the screen on the right gives information based off its own calculations, and that way you can check that you've got good information, obviously. So it's obviously important that you use the autopilot on your side, because if your instruments are correct but the other side are wrong and you're using the other side autopilot, you may think your instruments are correct and then they're not, and the autopilot will follow the left hand side. It'll be a bit of a mess. Yeah. Google didn't like the G3000 mod. Interesting. So this plane, you can get it with the G1000 or upgrade it to G3000. So it does come with the 1000 as well, I believe. And I think this is the 1000, although it does look different to some of the others. I can't keep up with all these fancy screens. I learnt to fly on steam gauges, as they're now called. So I never had this sort of flight deck ever in my life. So I don't really, I don't see it very often. I know the Dreamliner now uses this sort of setup with the middle, just a huge screen. But yeah, same with like touchpads, things like that. The banana is the arc on the PFD, says Victor Tango. It tells you when you'll reach the selected altitude. Oh, very good, yeah. Yeah, that is quite good on the Boeings. I do like that. Right, let me check. We're going to go to the right island. So that's the small one. We need to get past that island. So we're going to go slightly further right. There we go. Amazing, isn't it? Apparently there's a whole arc of volcanoes here, all from the same tectonic sort of plates. Transit 2548 doing well up there in the 747. I haven't seen one of those on the channel at all, actually. 74 is something we definitely have to Definitely have to try. I mean, who doesn't like the 747? I'm just hoping there's a good mod for it. I think there is. Is it the one that's by Salty Simulations? Not sure. So I suppose now, just before we get to Stromboli, is a good time to mention that I do have a merch store available for you guys. So that is just recently added. You can get some stickers with 320 Sim Pilot sort of logo. You get a nice picture of the A321 that we use in its 320 Sim Pilot livery, or the tail fin from that livery as well. There's also a mug which features the tail fin and the logo, and you can adjust the color of the mug. And finally, there is a t-shirt with the G Sim X A321 on the back and our tail fin logo on the front. And we are working on some more. That's just where we're starting with. So those are available. The link is in the description for our Teespring store. It should appear below the videos one day. I don't know. I did press that box, but I don't know if it's happened yet. But yeah, those are available for you guys if you feel like supporting the channel through merchandise. Those are there, and you'll get a nice mug or sticker set or t-shirt out of it. The 910 comes with the G1000, says Joseph. Yeah, so this is the 930, quite a nice version. Oh, we don't want to air on the window. Oh, we don't want hot air at all, actually. Okay, caught up. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I don't want to go too fast. I want to give people a chance. There's our 320. Daranaho warning about the store. It's incredibly bright to those of you. There's a bright pink banner on the top, which I haven't changed yet. So if you do open the store, have your sunglasses on ready. Or look at something bright pink before you look at it. Okay, so this is a smaller island. There we go. That's my favorite effect in this sim. Amazing. The reflections of the instruments. Brilliant. That is great. And there's a TBM 940 indeed. Lizzo5's posted a link to the store if anyone's interested. There you go. Thank you, Liz. Yeah, we have a whole load of mighty flying machines behind us now. And still PG Trot's doing very well. PG Trots, if you're in the chat, what are you flying? I'm curious to know what that... that looks like a Jetstream 41 to me, or 31. But I don't know what it is in the game. Probably a King Air. Probably. Dougal McTavish says there's a Simwings IFR group flight on Saturday at 1900 Zulu being streamed by X-Plane 72. Or I never know, is it X-Plane 1972 or 72? But there we go. So Dougal and Aviaman, who was in the chat, run the Simwings support group. So they are an organisation that donates computers to people who are part of the flying community or the flight sim community but can't afford their own computers or aren't able to get into flight simulations for various reasons, and they support them by people make donations and then they get them the gear they need. They select people carefully who are active in the community but just can't get into it for any various reasons, and they're doing a group flight where you can pay a small donation and then join in on the flight with a big group and fly around. I went along to the last one for a little bit, and it was yeah, it's great fun. So that's something else you can do if you enjoy this sort of group flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. They'll be doing their own, and that will be streamed online as well. Here we go then. Cloud over the top. That's quite typical for these sorts of sudden bulges in the ocean as the air gets pushed up over them. So this is Stromboli, which, or I'm probably saying that terribly. Stromboli. Apparently it's got a nice beach on the other side, so we'll have to, let's go and have a look at that. Again, autopilot off, take the thrust back. Sorry guys behind trying to follow. There's the town. Wow, imagine living on that town with the volcano right behind you. Amazing. Spectacular island. There we go. Sorry everyone. Okay, my sim froze. Oh, thank goodness it recovered. I had a few issues in recent streams with various sims. So there should be a beach in town over here. Fantastic. You know, the more I spend time in Flight Simulator, and now, you know, obviously we've got news of the, I know I don't like to talk about it, but there is news about the coronavirus vaccine and so on, the more excited I am to think, well, maybe I should go and see some of these places. And the places we've seen in Flight Simulator that I didn't know about, I mean, this town must be amazing to go and see. It's got a bit of a lot of ferry routes, it seems. That is a real impressive island. Proper islands. Excellent. Okay. Now, let's not get lost. We can see all the currents in the water. That's another great thing in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're going to get our speed up a little bit now. Let's go back into level. So we're going to obviously skip Reggio Calabria. And we're going to go to LIRI, which I think is a bit further north. If I can do that. Yeah, so Naples is up there. LIMD. LICA. Well, either way, we don't want to go this way. We're going to head northeast up towards the coast. Heading mode it is. And let's climb back to 5,000, I think. Flight level change. Up we go. Sorry, everyone. Jumbo jet's doing very well. A fair bit of flap out to try and keep that altitude. Come on, climb, climb, climb. 230, maybe a bit of a steep climb for this aeroplane. Or a bit of a fast climb. James Cooper, thank you very much for your another £2 donation. And James says, please everyone donate to Simwings. There you go. The link is in the description, Simwings, the Simwings group. Lima India Charlie Alpha. I don't have the name of that airport. Does anyone know? Where is that? Hello, Volcano, Stromboli. Matteo says PG Trots must be Red Arrow pilot. Yeah, PG Trots has been doing very well, even despite what I've been my worst attempts to make it impossible. I'm just going to bring the power back a bit. I can see what's happening. We're struggling a little bit. So vertical speed is what we go into. 600 feet per minute. No rush here. I'm going to come bright a little bit more. Let's get ourselves up to the coast. Do some VFR coast flying. I don't like being out over the ocean for too long in a single engine aeroplane. It's a long way from home. Ah, we haven't got the pulse lights. James, another £2 donation. Thank you very much, James. It says, have you ever landed IRL at EGNX? Yes, I have. I won't talk about these things too much, but yes. Victor Tango, I have to go. See you later. Thanks for coming, Victor Tango. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again in another stream or video soon. Thanks, Victor Tango. Ollie says, make sure to fly along the Amalfi coast, south of Naples. I have family there and it is amazing. Yeah, everyone says so. That's why I want to get into the coast. Let's go to LICA, which is pretty much east, and then head up the coast from there. I think that'll be nice. Don't want to get stuck in those clouds, though. There's PG Trots. Okay, bring the power back a bit, give everyone a chance. And I think 4,000. 4,000 is going to work. Keep us below those clouds. Lights, I want the lights different. Let's go to off and pulse. Does that work? I want the pulse lights. I think they're really cool. Yeah, there we go. They really stand out, and when you see these airplanes out there, they really... The pulsing lights does work. Love it. Skimming the clouds. But yeah, James, thank you very much again for your donation. Very kind of you. Robert Markham, good evening to you. Thanks for coming along, and I'm glad you enjoy the content. Have you ever flown into Jersey? I don't want to talk too much about where I've flown and in what context I've flown. But I have been to Jersey, and I do know Jersey Airport. Darren Naho says, have you heard about the proposed 350 transatlantic formation flights? No, I haven't. I have no idea. What's that? Formation flights in the 350? I have not heard about that. Bath is working on some Channel Islands lighthouse for the sim. Very good. And there's a cliff at the end of the runway in Jersey. Yes, there is. Yeah, there are some stories. I bet there are. Yeah. Okay, it was coast and sights. That's starting to feel a bit more confident in my single engine. You have to have all sorts of life jackets and things in the aircraft when you're doing a single engine flying over the water, even if you're just slightly out over the water, really. If you can't make it back to land, a whole world of emergency equipment you need to keep with you. Looking great, everyone, looking great. Sorry about that, just sorting a few things out here. Right, okay, Lima India Charlie Alpha, which I haven't worked out where that is, but there we go. Okay. Darren Naho says they're trying to bird formation flights in order to save fuel. To save fuel with formation flights? Is that possible? How would that save fuel? I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of clever people who know what they're talking about when they do these things. So yeah, amazing. Principles of flight is a topic you study when you become a pilot, and it's one of those things that some people just really fall in love with and other people really have to think hard about. Baffin Nab says, do you have interest in stories of aircraft crashes and how they happen? Yeah, I keep track of the ones I can, and when I was younger I watched Air Crash Investigation, of course. Fascinating stuff, and there's always lots to learn, always. Robert says, how long have you been an Airbus pilot? I've been an Airbus pilot for five and a bit. What other plane have you flown? Do you have a favourite one? I won't talk about the other planes I've flown, just for privacy reasons. But as I said, I've flown a turboprop aircraft. I have flown piston aircraft, but not with the G1000 style setup. So a few other things. But yeah. Do I have a favourable one? In terms of a place to sit and spend your day, the Airbus. I absolutely love the Airbus. I think it's great. I think it's really great. Yeah, I've got no... Compared to everything else I've flown, I've got no reason to dislike the Airbus, put it that way. I do really like it. Thanks for your subscription, Mateus Wozniak. Oh, I hope I got that right. And Mateus may be watching this video or not, but thanks for subscribing. Firezappy says, wingtips create vortices that make lift that other planes can fly in. It's why birds fly in diamond formations. That's why formation makes fuel efficiency. Yeah, so I can understand that, but wake turbulence is typically something we actively avoid in aircraft. We try very carefully not to stay too close to other aircraft. So because of wake turbulence, the wingtip vortices create that wake turbulence. So my gut instinct is that would mean a lot of turbulence for the flight. But still, I don't know. There's probably more to it than that, but that would be my gut instinct. I mean, in the A320, we have to wait after other aircraft take off. They won't put us too close behind them on approach for all these reasons. The risk of wake turbulence, which probably won't flip over an A320, but if you're in something smaller like this TBM, and we go behind a heavy aircraft or a 757 or something, you know, small aircraft like this have been turned upside down by the turbulence, certainly. Baffin Nab says, look out for the flight channel. There we go. Yeah, something to look out for. The plane flies to the side like ducks. Yeah, well, there you go. It's obviously something I, as I said at the start, I don't know about with principles of flight. Okay, here we are reaching the coast. Time to make our left turn. We're going to head up north. 230 knots seems okay. Left we go. Oh, not that far. Right, facts about the airplane. That's what we're up to now, certainly. Yeah, flying in the jet slipstream, less resistance. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely see that, but my assumption would just be turbulence, but maybe not. Maybe there's a certain distance where that wouldn't happen. 1.5 nautical miles apart. Okay, so that probably means the wingtip vortices from aircraft, they move down and slightly away, and then they drift with the wind. So if you're 1.5 miles behind, I would hope you wouldn't hit them. Maybe there's another effect as well in force. That's why you have these little winglets. These are to stop the wingtip vortices, because the air is trying to go from the bottom of the wing to the top, so it swirls. So we put these on to stop that. And the 350 has pretty big winglets on it as well to stop the same effect, because it causes drag on the aircraft. They're still there, but they're smaller when you put winglets on the end. Boeing's look like they don't have them, but they do. They have a blended wing where the wingtip doesn't produce lift, and it blocks it in the same way. It's just not vertical. It sticks out. It's a NASA study. There we go. God, you guys are all on top of this stuff. I'm sure NASA know what they're doing with it. Yeah, it must be some sort of slipstream effect. Yeah, amazing. They'll come up with all sorts of clever things, I'm sure, over the years. It's the stuff they can. Right, let's see. How are we doing? What's the time? Perfect. We're doing all right. Oh, I don't like this map. It's quite difficult to scroll with. So we're going up to Naples, up here. So I want to go to, I did say, I promised another little airport we'd stop at. Lima, India, Romeo, India. It's just another, for all I know, it's another military airport. Hopefully not. Let's go back. Let's go direct to. Actually, cancel. Let's go to flight plan, and let's add an en route waypoint. Lima, India, Romeo, India. I don't know if anyone's from there or knows it. But let's enter that. And that should appear. There it is. Yeah, so we'll scoot up the coast and go there. Kai's in an EasyJet livery 320. Very good. We don't have... Sadly, I don't have the livery mega pack because I know some liveries cause problem with the 320 mod, so I have to be careful which ones I install. So yeah, I'm sorry if I missed that. Simfly UK, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Well, the Jumbo Jet, whoever's in the Jumbo Jet, doing a very good job with what I can only imagine is quite a difficult situation controlling that thing. Zooming along. Yeah, this is great. I love the noise of a turboprop as well. That sort of, that slightly piercing, cutting noise where the tips are supersonic. I'm just going to bring it left slightly. Head out over this bay. This is sort of a comfortable distance for me in a single engine over water. Magadster says, hello. Just want to say thanks for the 320 tutorials. You're very welcome. I'm glad they've been helpful. Just starting with Flight Sim. Great. Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm really glad. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming along to say so. Darian says, our links allowed in chats. Yeah. As long as they're appropriate. Right. How are we doing? So, TBM 930. They introduced the 930 variant of the TBM in 2016. But the first TBM goes back to the 1980s. 1988, the prototype flew. So it's been around for a long time. Who knows what TBM stands for? Or why it's called the TBM? Because I didn't. I always thought this was a Pilatus until I realised it wasn't. PG Trots, yeah. Definitely Red Arrow pilot. I've got a Dreamliner now as well. Excellent. All the Boeings represented. Fire Zappy says, what do you think about the future of aviation, specifically piloting of commercial aircraft? What will it look like in 75 years? Will pilots be a thing of the past? So, big question. Big question. 75 years? I don't know. Things change so fast in aviation, but they definitely feel like they've slowed down a bit. We have the 320 is exactly the same sort of flight deck as it was 40 years ago, even though it only took us 60 years to get from flying to jets and so on. So, or the moon even. I think we're a long way from having even single pilot airliners, and there's good reason for that. There's so many things in aircraft that need a second assessment, and there's a reason commercial aviation, public aviation, is safer than some other forms of aviation that typically don't involve two pilots. Also, just redundancy. We still have two engines. It didn't, we got from 4 engines down to 2 engines. We went from 4 to 3 to 2. You had those triple engine airliners around, and it's like saying we did the same with pilots. We went from 4 pilots, things like radio navigators, engineers, then the pilots. Now we're down to 2. But there's streamlining, which gets you from 4 to 2, like with the engines, and then there's the massive jump to go from 2 to 1 with engines, and same with pilots, in my opinion. I don't know though. It could be anything. So I don't know if 75 years will be enough time to get rid of even one pilot. Probably. But it's a huge thing not having a second opinion on these things. It's a huge thing. It makes such a difference. And as we saw, I did approach into Reggio Calabria in my last stream, and it's even that on my own in the flight sim it's hard. Like, it takes a lot of. Well, I didn't even get everything right then. It needs 2 people. It's designed for 2 people, and airplanes these days are designed for 2 people. The other thing that's going to be is think of the investment to upgrade airplanes into single pilots. You're going to have to buy a new airplane, and it will have to be certified and so on, and that costs a lot of money. So although going down to 1 pilot, the advantage is obviously that you only have to pay for 1 pilot, but the disadvantage obviously with the safety and so on. But if that was all approved and considered safe and so on, you're going to have to buy new airplanes, because it won't be the same airplanes just flying with 1 pilot. They're not designed for it. So that's going to cost a fortune. And we have airplanes that, you buy your airliner and you'll keep it for 20, 30 years, even now. There's original Airbuses out there flying around. So, and they're from the 1980s, 40 years ago. So, I think it's plenty in the future. Revo says, is there any plane you wish you could fly? If you're talking about airliners, that's a tricky one. I liked the 757 a lot, but that's basically gone now, or certainly very hard to go and fly. I like the Airbus a lot. I'm glad I fly that. 340 would have been nice, but that's pretty much gone as well. It's typically airplanes from your childhood, isn't it, that when you actually go and become a pilot, they tend to have disappeared. Yeah, poor pilot would be so bored, no one to talk to. Yeah, it would. I mean, I can't imagine trying to do a long haul flight as a single pilot. No way. Bath says, I keep telling everyone, due to automation, there'll be 1 dog and 1 pilot up front. Dog will bite the pilot if he tries to touch anything, and the pilot's job will be to feed the dog. Yeah, exactly. PT12 has the T-tail. The TBM obviously doesn't. There we go. See, I'm behind on my airplanes. Felix, I've been trying to learn to fly. Not going so smooth, but your tutorials are helping. I'm glad. Yep, I hope they help. And thanks for coming along to say so, Felix. Very kind. Thank you for your subscription. And I think that's a Greek name, but I won't even try. I do apologise, but thanks for subscribing. Yes, Darren says, and FAA certification. Yes, certification does take a long time. For good reason. You can't rush these things. Here we go. More beautiful, beautiful terrain. PG trots. Absolutely glued to the wing. But everyone's doing a great job, really. Look at all this. Fantastic. James Cooper, another £2 donation, James. Thank you very much. That's very kind. You could do a worldwide virtual RAF tour. That's very kind, James. Thank you very much. Long haul is definitely going to feature on the channel at some point. We're going to have to do that. And that, people stream, and you guys do your sims or single pilot, and you do. I've seen people do long haul flights. But thank you very much, James, for your support. Thank you. Low. Not subbed? I hope you do. Thank you very much. Robert says, in practical situation, would it be possible to fly on your own, in your opinion? Yes. It is practical. You can do it. But it's not safe to do day in, day out at the moment with the aircraft we have. If you need to land an airplane on your own, that's absolutely possible. No question about it. And it's possible to do it. Yeah. It's safe and it's possible. And it's been done, So it's one of those things. But it's not sensible or feasible as routine. Ree says, hey, hello. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I wonder if this is saving the fuel. Do they simulate wake turbulence? I don't think they do. The only simulator I know that does is the DCS. In the F-14 and DCS, there's wake turbulence, and it's incredible. You're flying behind the tanker or something, and you suddenly feel the vibration. I love it. Oh, there's Dougal. Glad you made it, Dougal. Skimming those mountains over there. Henrik says, will you fly the fly-by-wire A380? Yes, absolutely. Now, you're talking earlier about planes I like. I like the A380 a lot, and I would absolutely love to fly that. So I hope we get to see that. I know a lot of times the 380 never makes it into simulators, so I'm excited about that. So absolutely, I definitely. And the 340 is coming to X-Plane, so I will be flying that as well. There's so many new ones coming, all Airbus related. 350 is going to feature on the channel soon, the A350. We will be flying that. I had a lot of support for the channel. James, again, thank you for your £1 donation. James has been very supportive, and that's through support like that, James, that we're able to do it. So thank you very much, James. Again, very kind of you. And yes, 350 has been done, or I have, so we'll be getting ready to do that. 340 is great. I agree, Lo, and Toliss are making their own version of that, which I'm excited about. Then we've got the 380 to come, and another one, I don't know if you guys have seen, Toliss have started showing some pictures of their 321 Neo long range, so that's going to be added to the hangar as well, absolutely. SM, I assume, is tagging me, a real Airbus pilot, so I'm going to take that compliment anyway, so sorry if it's for someone else, but thank you very much. I'm glad you've been enjoying the sim because of it. That's great. A32NX team have done a great job. Darren, the A380 is a unit indeed. James Cooper says the Worldwide Virtual RAF Tour is a UK tour on Worldwide Virtual. I don't know. I didn't know that. Interesting. Sam A-D says, what's your specs? Exclamation mark specs. There you go. Turtle kayaks all over it. We'll bring up the specs. Yeah, A350 would be good. And you know, I'm thinking currently, just thinking out loud here, so I may regret saying this. Thinking if we get to 30,000 subs, then we can do a long haul stream. Just depends when and if that's possible. Loeb, thanks for coming along from South Africa. I hope you're having a good day there. Fantastic. It's great seeing people from all over the world here. But thanks for coming along, Loeb, and hopefully see you soon. No coffee in the flight deck in the A350. Yes, yeah, they had an issue. Wow, I love the terrain in Italy. It's just got everything. Beaches, mountains. Look at this. Screenshot time for sure. We seem to have grown. I think this group has definitely grown a bit. Sam, I'm glad they've helped. Absolutely. The A380 will even bring your machine to the limits. Ah, there we go. Is it going to be hard on the frame rates? Is it? I know the fly-by-wire mod sometimes has a serious impact on my frame rates as well. If we make 30. Well, you guys are helping. Thanks for subscribing, Brandon, Russell, and Tontu1511. Yes, when we make 30, exactly. I should think like that. It's been amazing. So thank you guys. I always say this, but I'll say it again. It's just great to have so many people just come along and be friendly and enjoy aviation and chatting about it, and I absolutely love it. So thanks for coming along to the videos, and yeah, we'll keep going. We just enjoy it, and it's great. So thank you all for joining us today. It has to be Singapore for Newark for a long haul flight. See, I was thinking I'll do long haul in the sense of, I don't know, what's long haul? 6 hours? Singapore to Newark. How long is that? Is that the 14, 16 hours? Something like that? Something crazy. Right, some more TBM facts. As we scoot through the clouds. Do we need any de-icing? Oh, I keep messing up my cable here. How are we doing? I do like this. We get an angle of attack indicator. Oh, we did. Oh, there it is. AOA, which is pretty good. I like that. Nice feature. Wind indicator. So this is quite an advanced aircraft, obviously. This has an air data computer. So what that means is instead of just seeing the indicated airspeed, which is the speed of the air hitting the pitos, we get a calculation, a true airspeed. So it takes things like temperature and density and pressure, altitude, and it can work out how fast you're actually going through the air, which is how it knows we're doing 251 knots, even though we're only indicating 237. The higher you go, the bigger the difference between those two. 19 hours and 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know if I'll manage that as if my first attempt at long haul. A340 full load range is 14 hours. Okay, 14 hours, yeah. Maybe I'll limit myself to the 340 then. I don't think I'll be able to keep people entertained for 6 hours. I don't think that will happen, Fire Zappy. James, that's very kind. Last one, another £10 donation. Thank you, James. Last one, beers on me when it's allowed, not before work. No, not before work, absolutely, but that's very kind, James. Thank you very much. Thanks for your support today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's just very, very generous. Thank you, James. Very kind. Oh, fantastic. Amazing. Amazing how supportive you guys are. Sam did an 18-hour flight. Wow, goodness me. Low doesn't need to go. Excellent. You can hang around. We're soon getting not to our destination, but to our first stop, which is actually pretty close up to Naples. Right, this is a bit risky. We're probably below our MSA, and we're very much in the clouds. Let's bring it left. Let's get back over there. Definitely want to be VFR for this. Webcam with the cat on for a few hours. Yeah, that could be an idea. You can see how the cat attempts to suffocate my computer. But we mustn't talk about it on stream. Last time we did, it went wrong. We're on the West Europe server. Why Airbus don't have synthetic view? I'm assuming synthetic view means this. It's just because it wasn't featured on it. It wasn't designed on it all those years ago. And it always expensive to modify things. And the screens are too small, really, for that. You wouldn't be able to see much. Fire Zappy, Airplane. Airplane. So what's your favourite aviation movie? Airplane heavily features. Obviously Top Gun is great. Flight was a good film, but Airplane is definitely a top one of the top ones that you've just got to know and enjoy. Here we go, heading out over another bay. So TBM, what else can we say? We talked about the engine. We talked about, well, we've struggled with that single power lever for the propeller. It's quite clever, but I'm not sure I fully understand it. Unusual though. Normally, obviously, you have a blue lever for the propeller. So yeah, quite different. That will really mess up people with home throttles. I mean, I've just got my HOTAS 4, but yeah, that would mess up your setup a little bit, wouldn't it? Right. Yeah, $4.5 million US. We talked about that. Did anyone come up with why it's called TBM? Because I didn't know, so I don't know if you guys will. Jack Brady, thanks for subscribing. Dougal says Airplane for him too. Yeah, absolutely. It's just great. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it in a long time. Top Gun is also great, of course, but we'll talk about that when we're in the F-14. A Twitch streamer let the chat control his aircraft. Puts a new meaning in flying together. Yeah, but it does. James, normally working when the stream goes live. Paramedic in East Midlands. Oh, wow. That's why I asked about EGNZ. Done a few calls today for poorly passengers there. Oh, wow, amazing. That's an amazing job, James. So your logo or your icon makes sense. So thanks for coming to join us today, and I hope you have a stress-free evening. Yeah, shift working as well. My goodness, amazing. What a job. I could never be a paramedic, so that's amazing. Yes, there we go. Mooney. People have got it. The Mooney. Tarbes, which is the town. TB is for Tarbes, which is the town where Socata, who originally made the TBM, were based. It became Daha, French companies, but Socata were based in Tarbes, so TB, and then they teamed up with Mooney to make this. We all know Mooney from their FSX Mooney. Look at that. PG charts, fantastic. And yeah, they're Mooney, so they put TBM together. Don't think I have too many more facts, so we can start moving on to our... we're going to do another landing. We're going to do a little stop off at LIRI, and then we'll head up. It's a very short hop over to Vesuvius. Now, you'll all know Vesuvius. Let's bring it right around this headland now. Basically north, really. A bit northwest. Let's do 340. How are you guys doing? It must be exhausting. Look at that. Fantastic. Let's try and get everyone. Get the mouse out of the way. There we go. It's such a pain for screenshots and making videos, this bar that constantly appears here. The amount of times I've had to redo everything for that. Disappearing and reappearing. Prone to engine hot starts, apparently, says SM, the TBM 930. That is interesting. I did not know that. We don't want to be this far north. Let's go. Let's try 320. 320, there we go. That's a good number. We like 320. Benson G, the company I work for, specialises in Cicata aircraft. So Cicata also made obviously the TB10, TB20. Very nice touring sort of aircraft. Very quick for what it is. Retractable gear. The TB20 anyway. Yeah, flight isn't entirely about flying. I'd agree with that, Baffing Dab. Film that does feature flying quite nicely is First Man. I quite liked that. That's a nice, or some really good sort of test pilot sort of scenes, but obviously moves on to space as you would hope it would as a topic. Yeah, great guys. White Eagle DCS stream. Yeah, that's I'm working on DCS to try and get my skills up to a level where I can stream it. I may make a video with it first. I haven't decided. What do you guys want to do? The people here want a DCS stream, and it'll be in the F-14. I don't know how to set up a server yet, so it wouldn't be a group flight yet. But that's certainly something I'd like to do in the future. But would you guys like to see DCS streamed, and you can watch me struggle? Probably a little bit of dogfighting, a little bit of carrier circuits, something like that. I don't know. Richard Reed, good to see you. Yeah, we're having a nice formation flight indeed. Am I going too fast? I think you guys should be okay to catch up. Right, so Vesuvius. My last page of Wikipedia notes. Mount Vesuvius. Obviously, famous for its eruption in... What year was it in? AD 79, the eruption that destroyed Pompeii. It didn't just destroy Pompeii, it destroyed a few Roman towns. Because it was a huge eruption with lots of people living nearby. It took out Pompeii, Herculaneum, if I got that right. My Latin is not very fluent. Oplontis and Stabrae. Yeah, so 4 towns, plus a few others from an eruption in AD 79. Mount Vesuvius is an interesting volcano because the style of eruption, I've forgotten the name, but it has a certain style of eruption that causes these huge columns of ash and so on that then collapse, and that's what's so devastating, and the gases come down and so on. Very dangerous when it does go. It is still active, of course, so it's another one that is a bit like Mt Etna, certainly quite dangerous. So Vesuvius is considered one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world because as we get nearer we're going to see why. 3 million people live nearby it. I think 600,000 live in this actual danger zone. So it's the most densely populated volcano anywhere in the world, or the region around it is. Which is why it's considered just so dangerous. Because as we saw, Mt Etna, although it had Catania nearby, it still had a bit of space around it. You're going to see soon that Vesuvius has no space around it. It's much smaller, 4,200 feet, and that was in 2010, but it does grow and shrink as it erupts and builds up and down. It's the same tectonic plates, obviously, so it's still the African plate, which is being pushed down underneath the Eurasian plate. This one, a bit newer than Mt Etna, which might explain why it's a bit smaller. Mt Etna was 500,000 years old, or started 500,000 years ago. Vesuvius, just 25,000 years ago. Nothing really, is it? Like yesterday in these geographic sort of timescales. Right, LIRI. Before we go there, does anyone know? Are we okay to land there? Would it actually appear in the sim? Let's have a look. Let's make sure I've got this right. It's Salerno Costa de Amalfi. Is on the Amalfi Coast, which is what we're enjoying at the moment. It was founded by the Air Force. Is it now passenger? Yeah, I think it has a terminal. I think we'll be able to go there. I really hope so. Timothy's 340 knots going to catch up. You will catch up. Pyroclastic, exactly. PG Trots. PG Trots, how are you managing to type and stay there? We all want to know, which red arrow were you? I wonder if it will render volcanic eruptions in live weather. That would be incredible. Can you imagine? There's a 5 wondering how long the tour will take. Not sure. Not sure. A bit tricky, really. We'll land here, and then it can't be much longer. Let's scoot right now to LIRI. I think we can change that to nav source. MFD, MFD, and PFD. CDI, there it is, or FMS, and that gives us the course there, so we can go and track towards that. That's another video I'm hoping to work on soon. It'll be a video about tracking needles, which is a skill that we actually lose quite regularly as airline pilots. We don't use it very often. You definitely keep it in your mind, but you get less practiced at it, that's for sure. Dougal was eating and flying today. Excellent. Low, next airport, LIRI. If any of you want to join in for the last little leg, it's not going to be long, but it's Lima, India, Romeo, India. Sam AD says, no lag or FPS drop. I hope not. I hope not. But you never know. You never know with streaming. Sam AD, that's very kind of you. If you wish to donate, there is a little logo, a little $sign in the chats. There should be anyway, which allows you to do super chats, which is how you can donate. Very kind of you. Thank you for the support. PG Trots just... I just rely on you not looking out the window as I type. Fire Zappy says, random question, have you ever been with a pilot who says butter in real life after a good landing? No, never. I've never heard it. It's a phrase I hadn't heard until I sort of got involved with YouTube. I think I first heard it on Air Force Proud, who a lot of you I'm sure know. Air Force Proud, very big YouTuber of FSX videos. So no, I don't hear it. I don't hear it at work. We tend not to talk too much about our own landings. If you get it, you might get a nice compliment from the other pilot if your own landing was good. Let's start descending now before I get this wrong. So we're going to go down to circuit height. We'll do a 1,000-foot circuit. And down we go. I'm going to take the power right off. See if we can find this airport. Domingo Da Vinci, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well. Thanks very much. If you want to join in, we are soon arriving at LIRI in our group flight. Dougal hates the butter term. Yeah. It's not something that I can tell you. If you ever land an airliner well and you start talking about how great it was to the other pilot, you will not be very popular. You will not be very popular. And also, something that in real life that happens is you may have a really smooth landing, but you and the other pilot may know that it wasn't great technically. You may know that actually we were getting a bit close to the end of the touchdown zone there, and maybe we were going to have to go around, but we just about made it in, and stuff like that, where it may not be appreciated so much. So it's very rare for someone to start being too proud. Also, of course, if you're very proud of your landing, the chances are your next one will be terrible. You go in waves. You have a period of really landings where you think, yeah, I've got the hang of this, and then suddenly that stops, and you have a wave of ones that are sort of a bit more average. Right, let's go find this little airfield. Is it going to be too small? It does have a terminal. Sam AG, that's very kind of you. So thank you. Thanks for your support, Sam. A $10 Australian dollar donation. Thank you very much, Sam. I really appreciate it. And thanks for supporting the channel. Very kind, Sam, and thanks for coming along to watch, and thanks to everyone. Brandon Russell, we are on the West Europe server. Okay, going to try and spot it. Really, I should stay high, but then this plane does not descend very easily. It's quite slippery. All those winglets and things. This could be tricky as ever. As a pilot, you have to butter your landing, says Richard Reed. Yeah, yeah. It's you know, there'll be certain airports where a smooth landing is probably a sign that it wasn't so great. If it's a short runway or something, that's not ideal. The other pilot will not be pleased with you for spending too long trying to get a perfectly smooth touchdown. You just need a safe, in the right place, right speed sort of touchdown. I really hope this airfield appears, but it doesn't seem to be appearing on the screen in here either. Ah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I just love the Italian coast down here. Fantastic. Sun's starting to set now, just as we get to Mt Vesuvius. SM says, any other sim pit fanatics building their own pits? Yeah, I wonder, what are you guys using? Are any of you sitting there in your full cockpits? I've seen some on YouTube out there. Okay, we'll keep it 170 knots, 1500 feet. That gives us a chance to make it in here. Darino, butter or bust, yeah. Butter or bust. Runway 23. You guys' speeds are too high. Yeah, probably. I want to find the airport first, and then we'll join some sort of a circuit. I don't even know what the orientation is. I know what could help us. Oh, it's in the wrong place though. Oh, we've travelled a long way today. I think we'll go in for 05 then. Actually, no. We'll join, do downwind, and then land on 23, and then we can take off out to sea. Let's do that. So 1500 feet, we're going to go over this end of the runway, and then turn downwind, base, and land. Overhead join would be the phrase for that. So that's the airport there. Down to 1000 feet for circuit height, get that speed back. Let's get that seat up. Sit on our booster seats. Imagine, yeah, I love it, living with mountains around. It's not quite a textbook overhead join, but we'll do our best. I'm currently using the Thrustmaster HOTAS 4, the PlayStation 4 style controller. There we go. 140 knots. Right, 1000 feet. Let's turn downwind. Get that speed back. Start to get our first stage of flap out soon. If I can, I do wish I could get that pitch sensitivity under control. Quite a wide circuit this, probably too wide. First stage of flap out. We'll land on this one. 1000 feet. Beam the thresholds. There's a CJ4. Excellent. People are already landing. First one's in. Gear down now. Don't want to be left embarrassed without that. I like the flashing amber on the handle. That's cool. I suppose so you don't forget it while it's travelling. And now we'll turn base. Get that speed back. Now this airplane has huge flaps. Huge Fowler flaps. That's full flap out now. Which Fowler flaps are very effective. They allow air in between them. And they give massive amounts of lift. So they are really good. But they do have the downside of huge flaps like this will mean that pretty poor roll control. Because you've got those small ailerons and huge draggy flaps. Which is presumably why we also have roll spoilers on this airplane. Here we go, landing into sunset. Always hard to land directly into the sun. That is a typical pilot excuse you'll hear. But we are well below 1,000 feet, so it's too late for that excuse now. Fantastic. Love it. Feeling a few lumps and bumps. Landing with a headwind. Good. So we chose the right one way by sheer luck. Oh, booster seat. Getting a bit low. Hard to judge power settings in turboprops because you adjust the power lever, but you don't hear the same noise change like you do in a piston or a jet. You end up with, you know, the propeller RPM stays the same. It just increases the pitch of the propeller and puts more thrust in. So yeah, it's one of those things that's quite hard to judge. There we go. Oh, that worked out. Unlike my last one. Let's see if we can roll out smoothly this time. Gaming scroll. Yep, we are landing here, and then we're going to take off. I'm going to backtrack and take off on 2-3 as well. Right. Flaps up to takeoff. Oh, I didn't like seeing that loading sign. That's usually bad. I love the lighting effects on the ground. So we're going to go back the other way. We'll just charge in front of everyone trying to land. I do apologise, guys. And we'll take off. I'll go back the other way just so people in jumbo jets and so on have a chance to take off as well. This is an amazing single engine turboprop aircraft. Absolutely agreed. I have heard of a Slingsy Firefly. I have indeed. I have heard of the Gimli glider. Someone asked about that earlier, or asked if I knew what it was. Gimli glider being a 767 that ran out of fuel and made a gliding landing. Amazing. It is an amazing story. Ah, Tango Delta, thank you very much. Tango Delta bought a mug. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy it, Tango Delta. I'm sorry the notification didn't come up, or I missed it if I did. I do apologise, but yeah, excellent. Mugs are available on the Teespring store, guys, if any of you weren't here earlier when I started selling it. Specially created art, uses the tail fin from our Toliss A320 Sim Pilot livery, the Manta Ray. Okay, here we go. So thanks, Tango Delta. Thanks for the support. PG Trots has got to make dinner. See you next time. Thank you very much, PG Trots. Or we'll start calling you Red 7. Okay. Right. So before we take... What's that dinging? Oh, oh, oh. Airplane's upset. Park brake. Yep. I know. I turned it on. Master warning. Okay. Very good. Okay. Right. Now, there was an A330 that did the same thing. Yeah. The A330 ran out of fuel. The A330 had a fuel leak, whereas I think the Gimli glider had there was a miscommunication about the fuel quantities. Right. I think... Oh yeah. A couple of last things to talk about when we get underway to Vesuvius. It's to the south of Naples, so we'll see it. We'll get over this ridge, or around this ridge, and then we'll see it. There it is. And Pompeii. We're going to go and see Pompeii, little town. Right, let's go. We've got the last few planes coming back round. They're facing the right way. That should be fine. Everyone behind looks ready to go. Excellent. Off we go. I think I've said before on stream, one of the funnest things to do, we'll have to try and set it up one day, is if you land an airliner in real life with the sun directly behind you, then you'll see your... oh, trim's all wrong. There we go. Let's get in the air. Then you'll see your shadow appearing just in front of you. Gear up. And your shadow gets bigger and bigger as you're coming into land, and it's great. It's really fun. I don't know if we can simulate it. I'll have to have a go. If any game can simulate it, it'll be this one. And let's do a visual brake to the right. Get ourselves on the way. That was LIRI. We're going to go to LIRN shortly. Yeah, overlay is probably a bit misleading. I have got the right aeroplane today, though. I think I failed with that several times in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Ah, no, we've lost someone. LC322 game froze. Sorry to hear it. You're welcome to spawn again and try and catch up. First time it's done it. Ah, that's frustrating. There we go. Oh, bring the speed back. Let you guys keep up. Let's think. Can we outclimb this hill? I think we'll just scoot around the edge of the Amalfi Coast, as it were. Last of the leg now, guys. Thanks for sticking with us for so long. And yeah, we're well on the way now. So that's 2 hours in, isn't it? Excellent. I will get that autopilot in to give you guys a chance. Autopilots. Thank you for subscribing. Puppy Lights HD. Right, that's no good. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That's why you put the modes in properly first. Not like that. Right. That's terrible. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do 3 things. I'm trying to read the chat. Let's put in 3,000. That should be enough. Out. Let's bring the heading bug round. Heading. Autopilot. It's in pitch mode, so I'm going to put vertical speed and get it to climb up to 3,000. There we go, right. And we'll scoot around the edge, enjoy this coastline a bit. It's in roll mode, so there is heading. Yeah, Pappy Lights HD, thanks for subscribing. Okay, so Vesuvius obviously destroyed Pompeii and those other towns. In that eruption, the sort of plume, the ash, the rocks, the debris and the gases that it sent up into the atmosphere before they collapsed back down on the nearby towns, they went up to 98,000 feet, essentially. 98,000 feet, 33 kilometers, basically in space really, isn't it? Amazing power of force that I can't imagine. So Naples is just to the north of Vesuvius. Vesuvius is this one here. It's not as big as I said. It's about only 4,000 feet, so it's under half the size. But it is it's quite special. It's been considered in all sorts of cultures, obviously, for a long time. But there's amazing artwork of it done at the time, erupting and so on. It's incredible. LC322, thanks for coming along. Go and get something to eat. Enjoy. Richard Reed, 166 watching and 112 likes. Yeah, if anyone watching does like the video, please do like. As I said, it does definitely help with the channel. YouTube always supports channels that have more likes and so on. So thank you very much. No, even the SR71 wouldn't get up over the top of that. Absolutely not. Oh, look at these valleys, beautiful. So we're going to head around this headland and then we'll find it. And we'll see Pompeii. Pompeii, the town you can go and visit. I highly recommend it. I have been there. It's amazing. It's sort of preserved. It was obviously destroyed and there's all sorts of amazing bits of history there. It's so complete. Yeah, fantastic. I love these water currents. That is just great. Because the water's never perfectly flat or blue or whatever in real life, obviously. Thanks for your subscription, Marcus and Langbeck. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the video. Captain Sickbag, another great name. Popped in for a quick follow. Looking great. Thanks very much. Yep, you're welcome to fly with us as well if you'd like. The team is doing a great job. We've got some serious formation flying going on here. Okay, let's start bringing it round. Last stop, and then we'll be home for dinner. Or whatever it is for you guys, whatever time of day it is there. These towns always look great as well, living up on the coast like that. Monaco, Nice style. I bet these are some expensive houses around here. Andrea Franzoni says, are you English? Yes, I am. Captain Sickbag waiting for their new PC. I hope you get it soon. Difficult to get new computers at the moment. The computer parts are hard to come by. You have to have a bit of luck and timing with it, certainly. I do like this display. This is great. I'm sure somewhere in the manuals it says do not use that for for actually trying to avoid terrain, because we have a terrain display on the Airbus, but you're definitely not allowed to use it for avoiding things like this. Thank you for the subscription, XMD. Right, here we go. So Pompeii is to the south, Naples is to the north. I'm going to do my best. I promise I researched this earlier. How are we doing on fuel? Ah, okay, yeah, not bad. We had, what, 100 gallons in each side at the start? Something like that. So, clearly this airplane can go a lot further than we're testing it. So, let's go down and slow down again. Common phrase you hear in aviation is you can either go down or slow down, not both. Vertical speeds. Actually, let's do flight level change. Bring the thrust back a little bit. There it is. Vesuvius, the second volcano on the Volcano tour. In fact, I'm going to go idle thrust. We'll do another circuit of that before we head up to Naples to land. So let's go idle thrust, autopilot off, trim back a bit, get that speed under control. And to do this, I did practice. We're going to head in via this bay. Vittorio Insogna, Canadian, I think, $6.99. That's incredibly kind of you. Thank you very much for your donation, Vittorio. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Bob Atwell says goodbye. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Bob. Thanks for coming along. Right. Wow, we are really diving down. Now we have to get the speed back because it's not a big town, Pompeii, or certainly the what you can go and visit aren't. So I'm going to try and get level. We'll do one stage of flap. God, this is hard in these fast airplanes. I have to go back to my Cub flying. So I'm going to try and get there just from visual references, something like this. Yeah, Vittorio, thank you very much for your donation. SM, got to head off. Enjoy, SM. Thanks for coming along. Oh, yeah, it does look a bit like an aerial invasion force. Can I find it? Where was it? Where was it? I think it's on the right here. SM, thanks for coming along, and yeah, have a good evening. Thanks to everyone here. I hope you enjoy it. Have I lost it? Have I gone wrong here? There it is. Right, okay, it's on our right wing now. So we're about to circle. Let's put out one stage of flap. This is it. Sadly, they haven't done a special visual model of it, but yeah, like I say, highly recommended you go and see it. This is the amphitheatre up here, but they've loaded some offices on top of it or something like that, so it's a bit of a shame. Yeah, highly recommend it. It's amazing. And you'll see as we come around this corner how it ended up getting caught out by the Mt Vesuvius, because Vesuvius is just there, and you can see the amount of people living nearby. It's a hugely populated area. And there we go. That's probably the parking area, and then you've got all the old style streets and the ruins that you can go and visit. It's got whole pathways and roads that are still there. It's fantastic. So it's all of this area. Yeah, that's a shame. I wish they could add some visual models to that. Right. Off we go. Up to 5,000 feet. Scoot past Vesuvius. I think we'll just do a flyby, and then we'll go and land in Naples, and that'll be that. Andrea Fanzoni, if you're not subscribed, please do. Long haul stream coming at 30,000 if we get there. That's the plan. Oh no, Dougal sim crashed as well. That's a shame, isn't it? Maybe these flight sim streams are too long, too risky. The great thing is that you can just sort of spawn back in wherever. But I get that it's a bit of effort to have to do that at this point. Such a tiny one by comparison to Etna. The landing gear warning is common in this. Whenever you bring the thrust lever to idle, it gets upset and starts asking you for landing gear. Yeah, I fly not with ultra settings. I do high settings, and then, like I say, I just add the better. I think it's windows. It's not reflections. It's windows, because then you can see things like there, like lights reflecting in there. I really like that, but I couldn't do that on my old graphics card. It struggled too much. Here we go. Very fertile soil around the mountain as well, as usual, and I think it has two sort of peaks. I'm not entirely sure on that. Brian Embley had a work meeting, sorry, but thanks for coming along to see this part. It will all go on YouTube afterwards if you feel like watching along, but yeah, oh, maybe we'll do a circuit around here. We'll do a circuit around this peak. It looks too good. Amazing scenery. So yeah, so the type of eruption at Vesuvius is apparently it's prone to quite nasty style of eruptions when it does erupt. Yeah, quite a strange sort of crater at the top. But that's a real crater, isn't it? Wow, that's great. Proper crater to be seen there. FS 2020 gradually improving on the crash desktop. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think it's been a bit more stable for me. Round we go. Sun setting. Fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'll have to come back here. Once the world opens up again, I'm desperate to see some more of these places. Joseph Mitzel, I believe that's Hungarian. 1000, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much, Joseph. Fantastic stream and group flight, thanks. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for supporting the channel as well. I really, really appreciate it. That's really kind of you. And yeah, hope to see you again in another stream or video soon. That's it, guys. We're going to go up and land in Naples. Great job, everyone. Look at that. Totally encircled. Let's get another screenshot or two. I must put some of these on the Discord. We have a Discord in the chat, guys, if you want to go and join that. More information always appears on there first about, or at the same time, that's where I put information about live streams, videos, and you can ask questions. There's lots of really helpful, knowledgeable people on there, a lot of who are here today in the chat. So the Discord is always available. The link to join is in the description. As I said, the store for merchandise is always open. If anyone wants to go, the link will always be there, and it's in the Discord as well, if you change your mind. Right, LIRN is directly in front of us, so we're going to head there. Let's start descending down to circuit altitude. I've totally forgotten what the runway orientation is at LIRN. Yeah, similar, pointing in and out to sea. So let's do the same. We'll do the same join. I think that works out nicely. It gives you a chance to stabilize the approach a bit better. Yeah, I can't imagine, Nathan, how many TCAS warnings you'd get from this situation. I don't know. I imagine you can get TCAS on a TBM, surely. In fact, Steve-O does on his channel, I think. I think we've got the Amalfi Coast was to the south, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. We have a lot of locals in the chat, it seems, who'll be more knowledgeable. There's Naples. There's a town, big port where you can come in your cruise ships and park right here with the town up above you. There's a cruise ship there, actually. Yeah, beautiful. Just as the sun's going down. Right, we are very high, so we are going to have to really get that height off. Maybe we'll extend. Actually, it's a long runway. We'll have a long downwind. I think this looks like another photo. Is it photogrammetry or something they call it? A seriously well rendered town. Look at that. Even the screens inside work properly. That's great. Right, let's keep that coming down. Big town, Naples. Yeah. Amazing pizza here, I'm sure. Very famous for it. Hungarian forints, that's it. Yep, Hungarian forints. I knew it was Hungarian. I was going to say francs, but that didn't sound right. It's Hungarian forints, yeah. Yeah, thanks again, Joseph, for that. Right, turn downwinds. We're a bit fast, a bit high, but we've got the whole circuit to sort that out. Low crashed again. Oh no, yeah, we've had a few crash of desktops today. To stop that landing gear warning, I'm just going to give a tiny bit of thrust. As little as I can before we get the warning. So we'll go back down to somewhere near 1,000 feet. Get that speed under control. Looks like the airport's slightly elevated above sea level actually. Yeah, the lighting and the graphics in this game are ludicrous. Amazing. South of Naples, down past Sorrenti is the Amalfi Coast. There we go. Oh, I know about the landing gear. Let's put it down. That way it will stop saying that. Okay. That's it. I think we're in a good place now. Gears down. I'm sure somewhere in the world there is someone who has their 4.5 million TBM and they can just go for flying around the south of Italy just for their holidays in summer. One of the reviews on the TBM website was of somebody talking about taking the TBM to go golfing. First stage of flap coming out. And so on. Yeah, amazing. I thought that was great. Just what a life to lead. Nice lead-in lights, the running rabbits we can see there. And landing flap out. Try and get it trimmed. Good speed last time seemed to be about, I don't know, something like 85. I'm sure there is a way to calculate. Definitely a bit high. But we've got a lot of drag out now, so we don't want to go to idle thrust. There does seem to be a bit of lag on this engine. It does take time to spool up. So, yeah, being at idle is not too great. Okay, so getting onto 3 degrees. At 80 knots, that's going to be about 400 feet per minute. It's all we're going to need, so we're probably sinking a bit fast. There we go. Trim it out. Oh, just as the sun's setting into our eyes. That's our excuse anyway for the landing. Already got that one in the bag. We won't go for the numbers this time. We'll go into the runway. Try and keep 400 feet per minute. Should keep us on those 2 whites to reds. Getting low now, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to focus on that touchdown zone. The jumbo jet can't do it anymore. No, at 80 knots, I imagine not. There they go. Oh, look at the shadow. Fantastic. Oh, we should have landed the other way, actually, after what I was talking about. Next time. And here we go. I'm going to idle that power. I'm not sure when Steve-O does it in his videos, but there we go. Hold it there. A bit lower. Hold it there. And down. Yeah, shame to waste a nice day flying while playing golf. Fantastic. There we are, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the flight. We're going to come off up here and go and park over on the apron. I'm sure there is a whole checklist for after landing. The excuses come even before the approach briefing. Yeah, no, Darren, absolutely. That's far too late for excuses. Right. Rolling out nicely. It does actually have reverse, I think. But we will just stand on the brakes here. Bring ourselves off the runway. Oh, I wish it... I'm sure the real airplane has a better turning circle. I'm sure most aircraft can turn around on the stop. Oh, we've got some grass on this taxiway. It's not been used in a while. Margarine. Yeah, margarine. Maybe we'll stick to margarine. Great butter. Thanks, Rakon. Thank you. Focus lights off. Taxi light on. One of my best landings, says Kai. Excellent. You're welcome, Dougal. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thanks so much for coming along. As I said, it's an absolute pleasure to do these flights with you guys, just for the fun of it and to enjoy aviation, a bit of a chat. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. More videos coming soon on the channel. We've got Microsoft Flight Simulator stuff with the A320 fly-by-wire mods. We're going to look at some MCDU things in a video soon. More tutorials on some of the big topics, as well as some other streams I'm hoping to get into. So, like I say, Digital Combat Simulator in the F-14 at some point, and a bit of X-Plane 11 as well. Got to keep flying those Airbuses. I mean, whenever I do an X-Plane stream, we tend to end up doing quite a interesting approach or something in the Airbus. Try and use some of the power of the Toliss Airbus. So those will be on the channel. Do please subscribe and like the videos if you are enjoying them. It does help the channel, as I say. And I think I'll park on the left here. Lots of space for everyone around. We've not had such a nice parking area. Oh yeah, turn on the inertial separator for the grass. Missed my chance now. Richard Reed, I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Let's go and do our best attempt to shut down. Rhonda Lego 2, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. I'll go along here so you guys can park up behind. We'll never fit everyone. It's a crazy big group. Sven W, very kind of you as well. Thank you very much, Sven. I'm glad you're enjoying it too. I'll go along here and then I'll go right and stop. All the airliners have parked very neatly. Shamrock, Crone Zone and Orcs Dolly and Transit. Right, I'm stopping here. Park brake on. Yeah, we know the park brake's on. We did that. And we're going to run the checklist, I suppose. Taxi lights on. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Flaps up, trim, de-ice. Yeah, we've done all that. Strobe lights can go off. We don't want the pulse lights on. Strobe lights off. Shut down. Park brake on. Exterior lights can come off. Interior lights as required. Fuel selector, man. Probably won't turn off otherwise, I'm imagining. Fuel selector to man. Autopilot trims off. Bleed off. Bleed switch down here. Off. Throttle. Flight idle. Low idle. Cut off. So let's do that. How do I bring it back? Low idle. So it should be feathered and very low and cut off. The airport is full indeed. Yeah. Rock on. Thanks very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. Right, guys, let's jump into the drone. Let's see. Although this does sometimes crash the sim. No, we got away with it. That was a risky thing, turning on my drone like that. Right, guys, thank you very much for coming along to the stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. As I said, more stuff to come on the channel soon, so do please like and subscribe as ever. That's the standard YouTube catchphrase, I know, so I do apologise. And now, I think I've got a bit of music for you. So yeah, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again in the video soon. Thanks to all of you for the chat. Thanks for the moderators for coming along, and thanks for the merchandise purchasing and the donations to the channel. I really appreciate it. It's incredibly kind of you guys, as ever. Right, thanks very much. Enjoy your evening or your day or wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you again in another video soon. Bye bye.